And welcome to Chartbusters. Well, if you track the overnight cues, you would be wondering what kind of a downside we're likely to see till today. Well, we're 90 minutes into the trading session. Guess what? All the frontline indices, they're trading well in the green. The Nifty took support around the 20 DMA and it's bounced up from there. So we're off the day's low. Let's see how things pan out from here. Hey, Mangalam.
Hi, Nigel. I looked at all the overnight cues, etc., and some of the cues from the F&O space, flows, etc., too. But then my deep analysis says that on Friday, you weren't there, so it was Ekta and me. Yesterday, I wasn't there, so it was Ekta and you. Today, both of us are here, which is why we saw that recovery. So that's what our deep analysis says. But all that and more in just a bit. First up, all the top stories that we're tracking this morning. The Indian markets open lower in line with global cues, but quickly recoup losses to trade with gains. Nifty reclaims that 17,500 mark, with metals and autos leading the way. Mid-cap index outperforms.
ID stocks correct as bellwethers cut variable pay to protect margins. Brokerage house JP Morgan downgrades the entire sector to neutral, says it expects margin erosion to persist in the near term.
A large trade takes Devyani International lower by almost 5%, nearly 2.5% equity worth almost 550 crores trade at 185 rupees a share.
Maruti is buzzing after the chairman, Mr. R.C. Bhargava, tells CNBC-TV18 that India has unlimited potential to expand its car market, says Maruti will continue to target the entry-level segment, while its partnership with Toyota will help in targeting aspirational buyers.
Eicher Motors, the top Nifty gainer, hits a fresh 52-week high after CLSA raises target price to 4,154 rupees a piece. Says it is the top pick in the auto space for them, with volumes set to grow significantly. Exports are also likely to be a key growth driver.
All right, well, good bounce is what we're seeing from the low. So things looking pretty good as we speak. But how do you trade from here on? Vishal Malkant joins us to tell us exactly that. Hi, Vishal. Well, the markets are trading mildly in the green. From early morning lows, we're up closer around 170 points or thereabouts. What's your view? Is this the real thing? Or do you believe that we're likely to slip down back maybe towards that, that 17,000 odd mark? Go ahead.
Yeah, hi, good morning. I would like to say that we had a good correction in the last 3 days, and Nifty and Bank Nifty both touched upon the 20 moving average, which you rightly said. And I think that's a great support to get into this rally, which we started 2 months back. And I think 38,000 on Bank Nifty and 17,300 on Nifty are a great support to pick up good stocks. And the two picks for today, which I have, is NMDC, which showing good momentum on support and breaking that resistance of 115. So I'll go with a buy on that with a stop of 112 for a target of 129 in the next few trading sessions. And the second one would be RBL Bank. With a stop of 96, I would go with the target of 112 for the next trading sessions, next 2 weeks or so for the September expiry.
All right, Vishal, thanks a lot for joining in. Take your point on the decline that we've seen from the top, as well as the support that we're seeing at the 20-day moving average itself. Thank you for your picks. With that, we will slip into a short break. On the other side, we'll get chatting with the management of Nava, the erstwhile Nava Bharat Ventures, that is. They will discuss the outlook for the business going ahead.
लाइफ इंश्योरेंस ले लेना आज।
ले लेंगे। कौन सा मरने वाले?
शक्ति सर, अगर तू टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस लिए बिना ही मर गया फ्रेंड, तेरी फैमिली का बच जाएगा बैंड। 1 करोड़ का टर्म लाइफ इंश्योरेंस सिर्फ 430 रुपए महीने से शुरू फ्रॉम पॉलिसी बाजार।
टू बी और नॉट टू बी,
काट,
टू बी,
काट,
टू बी,
काट।
क्या हो रहा है यार? ये एक्टर से कट पुतला बना दिया है। अबे कट करना ही है तो अपनी लाइफ से ये पुरानी लाइट्स कट करो। मतलब इसका एलईडी लगाइए और अपने पावर बिल्स को और एनवायरमेंटल डैमेज को भी कहिए कट। दैट इज द क्वेश्चन।
कट।
Cisco LED, light years ahead.
Welcome back. You're watching us here on Chartbusters. The stock on our radar is Nava Limited, the erstwhile Navabharat Ventures, and there are a couple of reasons for that. First up, the FIIs have increased their holding in the stock from 4.85% in September 2021 to 9.5% in June itself. We've seen some recent buying coming in from the Employees Retirement System of Texas, so flows are coming in on that one. But more importantly, their first quarter numbers were extremely stellar as well. 84% jump in the revenue, nearly 2.5 times jump in their EBITDA itself. So what's the outlook for the business going ahead from here on? GRK Prasad, who's the director of the company, joins us now to understand the way forward. Thanks a lot, Mr. Prasad, for joining in. The first thing that one would ask is that what exactly is the steady state PLF for your Zamibia plant? In the fourth quarter, it was 91%. In the first quarter, it was 89%. And you still have, PPAs not signed for the 30% of the capacity that you have there. What's the outlook?
Good morning to all. The Zambian situation is pretty stable now. The PLF, as you have pointed out, at 90% is a pretty robust PLF for the power plant, with both the units running at full capacity. We have, under the new arrangement, about 90% power being dispatched to the local utility, for which we've been getting a full payment from for power supplies from May and onwards. Prior to whatever was the power supply, we were getting part payment, and balance outstanding remains subject matter of the international arbitration.
Okay, all right.
So that way the situation looks better. For the balance power, where there is no PPA or anything, the power is being currently sold on Southern African power pool day-ahead or week-ahead markets, which again is a robust merchant power market in that region.
Okay.
So there also, for the months of June and May, we got the full money. June there was no dispatch, but that is also a robust arrangement at this point.
Okay, all right. Mr. Prasad, just to, if I got that correct, 90% of your power that you're generating from Zambia, that's tied up, and 10% you're selling via merchant sales. That's correct, right?
That's right.
And I believe that the contracts were renegotiated in the month of May. So from May 22 onwards, you're receiving all your money. That's correct as well. Okay.
That's right.
All right. And the renegotiation was what? At a discount? I mean, it was lower by close to 20-25%. Would that be a fair number to assume?
I would say so.
Okay. All right. So we're pretty clear on that front. So post May 2022, things are looking up from Zambia because you're getting the money. It could be at a lower rate, but at least you're getting the money. Now let's rewind and talk about pre-May 2020, 2022. What is the total outstanding amount, if you could tell us? That was, there's an arbitration going on in London as well. The total amount, and, that would also include interest as VAT and VAT as well. Stripped of that, what could that amount be?
The gross amount was about $560 million.
Okay.
If you strip the interest and VAT, which is remaining outstanding, it comes to about 440 million.
440 million. So that would be roughly what, around 3,800 odd crores?
That's right.
And what is the status on that? By when do you expect to get it? Do you expect to get it?
Well, we certainly are looking forward to getting it, and the hearing is currently on for December. So hopefully by then it should get concluded.
Is it going to be a long drawn thing? December there would be one hearing. Is there a possibility there could be another one, say in the next financial year, or December hearing is the final hearing? What are your thoughts on that?
We expect it to be the final. I mean, obviously that is not in our control. The international arbitration goes on its own stream. But since we had a last hearing in September last year, and this is being scheduled for closure only, so we look forward to that to being the final hearing.
And you believe that you'll get, the full, let alone 560, but at least 440, 450 million dollars you believe to receive?
Yeah, 440 million is the net of other dispensations. So that is the amount that the company
will be. Okay. That's very important, sir, because if I look at your market capitalizations around 4,000 crores, if you get all this money, it'll be more than 3,000 crores, and your shareholders will be off for a party if that happens. So we'll have to wait by whether or not.
This is what, around 3,000 odd crores as well. So if he gets that 4,000 crores, not only do you get that cash, you also become debt free. Is that correct?
Yeah. I mean, debt runs its own course because we have, in this arbitration, along with our Zambian subsidiary, lenders are also party. against Jesco. So part of the debt might get credited resolved.
Yeah, I think the company is not directly liable for that, the entire debt, I think, right? That's the way it's structured.
That is very important because there is no recourse for that debt to the sponsors. So it sits with the project company.
Okay, let's talk about the India business then. Let's come back home. I think for your India business, bulk of your sales happen via IEX. So we'd like to know a couple of more details. What is the last rate that you're getting for your per unit, point number one, and compare that as well with, what you got, say, in quarter one. Give us a rough understanding out there. And also, I believe that, some rates have come down. Last year, you did an EBITDA number of around 236 crores from your India power business. What's the update out there? Coal as well is a bit of a challenge.
Yes, I think the last point is very relevant, because the availability of coal and cost of coal are matters of serious concern today, excepting for the linkage coal that we are obtaining in Orissa and some e-auctions in Orissa. Especially the situation in Telangana seems pretty serious, with coal cost spiraling without any let-up, which actually is limiting our ability to put the power on IEX also when Telangana works. Whereas Orissa, we have been able to dispatch power already. Coming back to the power rates and all, as you know, first quarter was also pretty good, with the peak almost touching regularly at about 11 to 12 rupees. This quarter, we see, though peak remains at around the same rate, the lower rate has come down. That is, of course, more seasonal, because second quarter generally is a lean season. So we don't expect that to change before September. From October, again, we look forward to slightly better rates.
All right. So this is lower on account of seasonality, and from October, it will increase as well. Let's talk about your, ferroalloys business. Last year was exceptionally strong for the industry as a whole. Has that continued into the second quarter as well? What are the kind of realizations that you're seeing both for manganese and chromium? What's a sustainable run rate out here in terms of EBITDA per ton and realizations, volumes?
Our main focus remains on the manganese alloys, and we see some, correction taking place in the domestic market. Though, of course, we have a dispersed market segment with both exports and domestic being alternated. At this point, the export prices remain more steady than the domestic market. So our concentration is on exports. Okay. This quarter and probably coming quarters as well.
Okay, all right. Before we wind down, we're running a little bit short on time. But what stands out in your presentation is you're looking at selling your non-core assets. And part of the market has been very disappointed. They're saying that Navbharat is getting their hands into too many verticals. But now you're looking to be sorting things out. So the three assets that you mentioned, one is you're looking to monetize the 20 megawatt IPP, that unit in Andhra Pradesh. You're talking about selling some land in Hyderabad as well, and another one, two land pieces out there. And the third is a sugar plant. Realistically, which one gets done, say, in this fiscal? And also, these three units you have mentioned for monetization, give us a rough value that you estimate for all these three units. Go ahead, sir.
Obviously, I can't talk about the value, but definitely the Hyderabad land takes precedence over the rest of the two. Okay. Where we are currently engaged with consultants to see how best we monetize that piece of land. As far as the other two lands are concerned, the one in Andhra Pradesh, both are in Andhra Pradesh, Dharmavaram as well as sugar plant. Situation currently is slightly not right. So we are, weighing, means probably we'll come up with a proper plan sometime later. But our concentration at this point is on the Hyderabad and Secunderabad land, which is a 65-acre land.
And how much per acre, sir? Very, very roughly. Not talking about your land, but market rates. So there are how much? We here in Mumbai are not too aware of that.
Well, it all depends on how the zonal regulations work out. See, yes. We talk about between 8 crores to about 11 crores.
8 to 11. So you can realize anywhere between 650 to around 700 odd crores if it is done well. Right. Okay. Take that point. We wish that some of it also happens in this fiscal, and more importantly, we'll keep a date with you in December as soon as you hear from the authorities on the arbitration that you have for over $450 million out there. Thanks a lot. Always a pleasure speaking with you, Mr. Prasad. With that, we'll step into a short break. On the other side, we have another management waiting by for us. Srivar Kheruka of Borosil Renewals joins in.
रिया, हम थोड़ा बैंक जाके आते हैं। चलो। Mom, there was a long queue.
Very long.
The all-new Slavia. Skoda. Simply clever.
Sit back and relax while we deliver the optimum blend for your needs. Invest in Sundaram FlexiCap Fund today. Mutual fund investments are subject to market risks. Read all scheme-related documents carefully.
तुझे तगड़ा इंसेंटिव मिला है। क्या प्लान है?
सोच रहा हूँ गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में इन्वेस्ट करूँ।
बिल्कुल सही सोच रहे हैं आप। अब गवर्नमेंट सिक्योरिटीज में इन्वेस्ट करना आसान हो गया है।
पर कैसे?
आरबीआई रिटेल डायरेक्ट स्कीम में बिना ब्रोकर के आप इन्वेस्ट कर सकते हैं और आपको आपकी पूंजी पर मिलेगी रिटर्न्स। आरबीआई पोर्टल पर जाइए, मुफ्त में अकाउंट खोलिए और अपने बैंक खाते से सीधे पैसे इन्वेस्ट कीजिए। सुरक्षित, आसान।
रिटायरमेंट के बाद मैं भी यही इन्वेस्ट करूंगा।
बहुत सही कह रहे हैं आप। आरबीआई कहता है
जानकार बनिए, सतर्क रहिए।
कंस्ट्रक्शन बहुत तगड़ा है।
क्या भाई साहब, जो साइट विजिट ना दिखाए 99 एकर्स बताए। घर लेना हो या बेचना, एक्सपर्ट से ही पूछना। 99acres.com।
Welcome back. You're tuned into Chartbusters here on CNBC-TV18. Well, by the way, before we get to our next management, just pull up the intraday chart of the Nifty. We're down close to around 50 points yet again. So at higher levels, you're seeing some bit of supply that's coming in there. And the Nifty Bank as well, that staged a good pullback. Well, that as well has moved into the red. But let's focus on another company. The Director General of Trade Remedies, as well as a recommendation, they have recommended a 2-year extension on the duties of solar glass imports from China. However, the domestic producers will no longer enjoy the protection of the said tariffs. This after the Revenue Department struck down on the recommendations coming in from the DGTR. To understand this, the impact on the business as well, we're joined by the Executive Chairman of Borosil Renewables, which is a key player in this particular vertical. Hi, Mr. Kheruka. Thanks so much for joining in, sir. I recall we spoke around 10 days or so ago, and you said there's no reason why this should not get extended. Unfortunately, this anti-dumping duty has been pulled out. So my question to you is this a done deal, or is there a possibility that this can be reconsidered as well? And just break it out for us. ADD is not there as of now, but BCD is there, and another tariff as well is there to protect the domestic industry as well. So explain that to us.
Sure. So ADD has been withdrawn, or it has not been renewed.
Yes.
It expired at the end of its 5-year term. And now the one thing that we can look at is government is going into a regime of imposition of basic customs duty on import of solar modules and on the import of cells. So there is a possibility they might go in for that. There is already an existing 10% basic customs duty on import of solar glass. But this has been coming under an exemption that was granted in 1999. So that's about 23 years ago. And which was that exemption is supposed to lapse in March next year. So, of course, nobody knows what the government is thinking, and I don't either. But there is a possibility that basic customs duty might be imposed. However,
if the basic customs duty is imposed, Mr. Kheruka, I just wanted to comment on that. What is the rate at which ADD was imposed, and will the basic customs duty be enough to deter imports? you're talking about 10% out there?
Right. So the effective rate of anti-dumping duty on imports from China from the largest manufacturers was at the rate of about 10%. So it wasn't a very hefty number. And if the basic customs duty is also 10% in case it comes in. So that's a matter of time. That time will tell us whether they are going to levy basic customs duty or not. I know for a fact that in the absence of this thing, see, we are a plant that has been running for the last 14 years, and so we are depreciated, and we have very low interest loads and so on. But new people who are coming in would be suffering from the weight of a lot of depreciation and a lot of interest payment. So, in fact, this, if anything, might serve to it might serve as a dampener for new companies which are looking at coming into the production of solar glass, and in a way that goes against competition, because
right. We take that point, Mr. Kheruka. We take that point, Mr. Kheruka. We just wanted to understand that for now there is no anti-dumping duty, and the basic customs duty of 10% hasn't been imposed yet, right?
No.
Okay. So what does this discontinuation or non-renewable or non-renewal of ADD mean for the average utilization for the industry in FY23? You said your plants are all depreciated. You don't worry so much, but the newer players will get impacted. But overall, the average structure of the industry, the utilization, how does that get impacted?
The utilization of glass is at an all-time high. We have been importing a lot of glass into the country. So there's a very, very strong demand for solar glass. That's not going anywhere. That's the first thing. And the second thing is that now, in the absence of duty, the glass will come in freely, you know. So it was coming in freely even in the past. So it doesn't really change very much. And in any case, glass from Vietnam was not coming in at all with any duty. So the glass from Vietnam was coming without duty. The Vietnamese glass is made by a Chinese company called Flat Glass. And there's a company in Malaysia, which is also Chinese owned. And until March of last year, which is 16 months ago, there was no duty on those imports either. So it's not like there is something, it's a very new thing or a very major thing.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, our research and development continues all the time. You know, we are very aggressive in finding ways to improve productivity and reduce costs.
Yeah.
So all that is always going on.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kheruka, you know, you believe that it's not going to have a big impact. For the time being, even the stock market believes that. I'll tell you why. Because, you know, if the ADD is not continual, the stock market would have been very nervous. But it seems there's plenty of appetite for your stock. Because, in fact, the stock is up by close to 4.5% odd in spite of this news coming in. But that's about the stock price, and we don't want, you know, any comment on that. Let's talk about business. Now, ADD is out of the way. So let's compare this. What is the current price of, you know, the glass that you are manufacturing? Point number one. And let's compare that with imported glass, landed cost of imported glass coming in from China. What is it now? And give us a rough difference.
You see, I mean, our prices are different for different customers because it depends on how close they are to us. So there's a lower freight rate, which is applicable to people who are next door to us. And there's a higher, the price for customers in a faraway location is obviously going to be higher because there's greater freight. Then there's another thing which weighs on the cost of the glass, which is what is the type of glass being used. So, for example, now, you know, we got into 2 millimeter fully tempered glass way back in 2017 because we could see the future coming. And now what we see for the first time in this country, from the month of June, there have been enormous imports of 2 millimeter fully tempered glass into India. So I feel that fully tempered 2 millimeter glass is going to be a very big player, very big thing in the country. And there are very few people in the world who can do that. So there, you know, the price at which they're supplying from China is going to be the major factor in determining the selling price in India for the Indian producer as well.
What will the difference be? So if someone has to import, I'm just speaking from an industry standpoint, if someone has to import, now they're perhaps getting it 10% cheaper because of the non-renewal of the ADD. versus I have to say call up Mr. Kheruka and buy from Borosil. What would the difference in the rates be?
As I said, I cannot give you a rate at which we sell because the rates are different for different people. When I speak on television and say my rate is X, then somebody will say that I'm getting it lower than X, or somebody will say I'm getting it higher than X. So we try to maintain a stability at the X factory level.
Okay.
And then the cost of freight.
So what we're trying to understand, Mr. Kheruka, is that the non-renewal of ADD, does it change the way you charge your customers? Will you have to take price cuts? If yes, by how much?
That depends a lot on what the, you see, let's say for instance that our price is 135 rupees per millimeter today, and the price of glass from China is 128 rupees. All right. Now we are already coming to the end of August. For the last 2 years, we have been seeing that as the year is drawing to a close, I mean the calendar year is drawing to a close, then the demand for glass and other components starts rising dramatically in China because their need for completing the contracts that they have taken becomes very urgent. And the last 2 years we've seen prices going up. So the reason I'm not able to give you a very definitive idea about the selling price is that, look, in fundament, the price has come down from the import price from China has come down by, say, about 10%.
Okay.
Now, how much they will increase their price from the price at which they were selling is something that's open.
Okay.
So, as a net result, at what price we were selling is something I cannot say will go down by 5% or 10% or at all.
Okay. But the imported glass coming from China will definitely be cheaper than what you're selling it at. I mean, that's a given?
Yes, that's a given.
All right. Final question, sir, before we let you go, Mr. Kheruka. We just spoke a few days ago and you said that Interflow deal is in pause mode. It's still in pause mode, or have you pressed play?
It is still on pause mode because the news coming in from Europe is quite grim, actually. And we see the price of the inputs like electric power and gas rising to all times high. We're looking at possibilities of recession and so on.
Okay.
So these are factors which we cannot ignore.
Okay. All right, Mr. Kheruka, we appreciate you stopping by and try to give us a sense about, how things are likely to pan out. For the time being, the market believes that your business is still on a rock-solid footing, and that's why your stock price as well is higher. Let's see how things pan out, but this could impact pricing owing to cheaper imports.
And I guess the market is also, rewarding Mr. Kheruka's candor. He said that it will be lower. How much lower, we don't know. Depends on all of that and stuff. So he's not giving any numbers which he's not sure of, and the street likes that. He's always been candid in the past as well. So that's about Borosil Renewables. The stock up 5%. With that, we wrap up on this edition of Chartbusters. Stay tuned. Trading Hour comes up next.
Brought to you